Ever taken an old, creaky elevator and felt like time just slowed down? For Maya, it didn't just slow down. It stopped dead one Monday morning in a forgotten office building. She stepped into the ancient lift and pressed the button for the 20th floor. The doors groaned shut. The elevator jolted upwards, and then silence. Utter, complete silence. The hum of the building vanished. The faint sound of traffic from the street below was gone. Confused, Maya pushed the door open button. Nothing. She hit the alarm again. Nothing. It was when the doors finally pried open that she saw it. The world was frozen. A co-worker mid-sip of coffee, a perfect, unmoving statue, a stack of papers suspended in midair, a bizarre paper waterfall. Even the dust motes dancing in the sunbeams were perfectly still. Panic set in, a cold, creeping fear that she was utterly alone in a silent, motionless world. After the initial shock wore off, a strange sense of freedom took its place. If she was the only one who could move, what could she do? Her first test was small. She saw a janitor's cart teetering, a bottle of cleaning solution about to crash to the floor. She gently pushed it back into place. It felt powerful, emboldened. She walked through the frozen office. She saved a plant from toppling off a desk. She caught a spilled cup of coffee, the brown liquid hanging in the air like a solid sculpture, and placed it safely back on the table. She even peeked into a conference room where a boring meeting was taking place, and on the whiteboard she drew a little cartoon spaceship next to the frozen presenter's head. A small act of rebellion in a world that couldn't see her. This was her new reality, a ghost in a snapshot of time. Smoke, faint but unmistakable. Her heart hammered against her ribs. She had to do something. But how do you fight a fire that isn't moving? She wasn't alone. Someone else was moving through this silent world. Someone else was watching. Her playground had just become a hunting ground. The silence was no longer peaceful. It was menacing, filled with the presence of an unseen observer. Who was it? And what did they want? She crept through the halls, her senses on high alert. Every shadow seemed to move. Every frozen face seemed to be watching her. She had to find them before they found her. The game of cat and mouse began. She'd see a sign of their passenger, slightly ajar door that was closed before a pen moved on a desk. They were toying with her. A message appeared, scrawled on a dusty window. I see you. This wasn't a random accident. This was a trap. Maybe, just maybe, it held the key to starting time again. She sprinted through the frozen corridors, her own footsteps echoing unnaturally. As she rounded a corner, she saw him. He was standing by the elevator bank, his back to her. It was the old security guard, Arthur, a man she'd exchanged pleasantries with 1,000 times. He was a quiet, unassuming man who always had a kind word. But here, in this frozen reality, he had an aura of absolute control. He'd seen something in Maya spark, a vibrancy. He didn't want to hurt her. He wanted a companion. He wanted someone to share the silence with. I can't let you restart time, he said softly. If you do, the fire will consume us all. Here, we're safe forever. Maya looked from his desperate face to the frozen fire down the hall, and then to the elevator. He was offering her an eternity of safety in a silent, dead world. But Maya knew she couldn't accept a life without change, without motion, without the chaos of normal existence. Wasn't life at all. It was a tomb. She had to take a chance. Arthur, she pleaded, this isn't living. We can't stay here. She saw the conflict in his eyes, the fear of returning to his lonely life versus the wrongness of what he was doing. She had one shot. She lunged, not for Arthur, but for the pocket watch in his hand. He was old, and her sudden movement took him by surprise. The watch flew from his grasp, tumbling end over end through the still air. It spun in slow motion, glinting in the frozen sunlight. For a split second, nothing happened. And then the world roared back to life. He stood there, just an old man again, tears streaming down his face as sprinklers activated, dousing them both. She had made her choice. She chose the fire, the noise, the chaos. She chose life. As firefighters led them out of the smoke-filled building, Maya glanced back at the old elevator. It looked just as it always had, ancient and unassuming. No one would ever know the secret it held, the silent world that existed between floors. She walked out into the bright, noisy, beautiful afternoon, taking a deep breath of the chaotic city air. She had been given a glimpse of eternity, and she had rejected it. Sometimes the most dangerous prisons aren't the ones with bars, but the ones that promise perfect, unchanging safety. And sometimes you have to run back into the fire just to feel alive. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more mind-bending tales. See you next time.